Hi everyone, so in this video I'm going to show you how to crochet this easy basket weave vest. So this vest can be made in any size from baby to adult, and I show you how to do those sizes in the tutorial. So for my vest I used a 4mm crochet hook, and in this video I am using US terms. So thank you very much for watching, and please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more crochet videos. So to begin your vest you want to start off by doing a slip knot. So to do a slip knot you want to take your yarn and you want to take your finger and you want to wrap the yarn around your finger once and then twice, then take the first loop and pull it over the second loop, and then take the second loop and pull it all the way over your finger. You then want to take your crochet hook, go in through the space and pull tight, and there you have a slip knot. Once you have your slip knot, you now want to make your foundation chain, and you can make your foundation chain as long or as short as you like, but your foundation chain must be long enough to fit across the width of a t-shirt in the size that you are going to make your vest. So I'm just making my vest for a baby size, but you can go all the way up to adult size. So here I have a baby t-shirt in the size that I want to make my vest, and I'm going to make a foundation chain that is this long, that can fit across the width. And obviously the longer that you make your foundation chain, the wider your vest will be. And your foundation chain must also be a multiple of 6. So you want to chain a multiple of 6 that is wide enough to fit across the width that you want your vest to be. So I'm going to chain 48. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 48. So I have finished working my foundation chain like that, and we're now ready to move on to round 1 of the front of our vest. So to begin round 1 of the front of our vest, you want to chain 4. So we're going to chain 1, 2, 3 and 4 on top of your foundation chain. And now round 1 is just a simple round of double crochet. So we're going to do 1 double crochet into every single chain along our foundation chain. And we're going to work our first double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. So here is the first chain from the hook, here is the second chain, the 3rd chain and the 4th chain. And you want to yarn over and go into this 4th chain. Yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the final 2 loops on your hook. So there we have 1 double crochet, and we're going to do that into every single chain along. So yarn over and go into the next chain and pull up a loop and yarn over and pull through 2 loops and then through the final 2. So there we have our next double crochet, and just continue to do this all the way along for round 1. 1 double crochet into every chain along your foundation chain. So I have just finished working that all the way along for round 1. So 1 double crochet into every single chain. And we are now ready to begin round 2. So to begin round 2, you want to chain 2 and turn. So chain 2 and turn, and this chain 2 counts as our first half double crochet. So in round 2, we are going to do a half double crochet at the front of the row, and then a half double crochet at the end of the row, and our chain 2 counts as our half double crochet for this stitch here, so for this end of the row. So now in round 2 we're going to begin using 2 new stitches, and these 2 stitches are called front post double crochet and back post double crochet. So for round 2 what we're going to do is we are going to do a front post double crochet around the first 3 stitches. Then we're going to do a back post double crochet around each of the next 3 stitches. Then we're going to do a front post double crochet around each of the next 3, and then a back post double crochet around each of the next 3. So we're going to continue to do that all the way along for round 2. 3 front post double crochets, 3 back post double crochets, 3 front post double crochets and 3 back post double crochets, all the way along for round 2. So we have chain 2 and turned, and like I said, this chain 2 counts as 1/2 double crochet for this first stitch here. So we are going to begin working around the next stitch, and we are going to do 1 front post double crochet around this stitch. So when you do a front post double crochet, what you were doing is you were doing a double crochet just as we did in round 1, but instead of working into the stitch, you were working around the stitch, and it gives a nice effect and it sticks out almost like a cable stitch. So what you're going to do is you want to yarn over, and then instead of going into the stitch, the second stitch, you want to go right before it. So here is the stitch that we're working around, and we're going to go in right before this stitch, and then we are going to go around the back of it and come out right after it, so in the space after. So you should have the stitch on your hook, and then you want to yarn over and pull up a loop, and here we are just working a double crochet. So yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 more loops. There we have a front post double crochet completed, as you can see. So it's just a double crochet worked around the stitch, and we're going to do that 3 times to start. So we've done that once, so we're going to do the same thing, another front post double crochet around the next stitch. So yarn over and go in before the next stitch, and then come out after the stitch, so you should have the stitch on your hook. Yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through the final 2 loops. So there we have our second front post double crochet, and we're going to do that one more time. Yarn over and go in before the stitch, and come out after it. Pull up a loop, pull through 2 loops, and then pull through 2 more loops. So there we have done 3 front post double crochets, and we're going to move on and do 3 back post double crochets. So when you do a back post double crochet, you are doing the exact same thing as we did up here. So instead of working into the stitch, we are going to do a double crochet around the stitch. We are just doing it in a slightly different way, as we are inserting our hook around the stitch slightly different. So when you do a back post double crochet, we're going to be working around this first stitch here. You want to yarn over and then go around the back as it's back post. So go around the back of your work and come out in the space right before the stitch and come out in front, and then go down into the space after the stitch. So it's kind of in the opposite way as the front post double crochet, and you should have your stitch on your hook here, but the opposite way round. And now we're just going to work a double crochet. Yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through the final 2 loops on your hook. So there we have 1 back post double crochet, and you want to do that 2 more times. Yarn over and go around the back of your work, go in right before the stitch you were working around, and then go down after the stitch that you were working around. So you should have your stitch on your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and yarn over and pull through 2 more loops. So there we have 2 back post double crochets, and we're going to do that a 3rd time. Yarn over, go around the back, in before the stitch you were working around, and then down after the stitch. Yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the final 2 loops. So there you can see we have done 3 front post double crochets and then 3 back post double crochets, and you can see the difference between the stitches. The front posts stick out and the back posts go back, and we're going to continue to do that all the way along for round 2. We're going to do 3 front post double crochets, 3 back post double crochets, 3 front post double crochets, 3 back post double crochets. So we're going to do 3 front post double crochets to begin our next repetition. So yarn over and go in before the stitch you're working around, and then come out after the stitch. So the stitch should be on your hook, and work a double crochet. And there we have 1 front post double crochet. Then yarn over and go in before the next stitch and out after it, and work a second one. And then yarn over and go in before the next stitch and out after, and work a double crochet. So there we have 3 front post double crochets, and we're going to do 3 back post double crochets. So yarn over and go around the back of your work, come out before the stitch, go over the stitch and go back out after the stitch, pull up a loop and work a double crochet. So there's 1 back post double crochet, and I'm going to do this 2 more times. So there's a second one, and then finally a third one. So go around the back, in before, over, out afterwards, and do a double crochet. So there I have my next repetition. So I have 3 front post, 3 back post, 3 front post, 3 back post, and I'm going to continue to do that all the way along my row for round 2. So I have just finished working that all the way along for round 2, and this is what you should have, and you can see where we have alternated between those stitches. You should be able to see a difference. And I have finished off by working 3 back post double crochets. You should end with the back post ones as we started with the front post. And then at the very end of this round, we're going to work 1 half double crochet. Like I said at the beginning of this round, the chain 2 counts as 1 half double crochet at the end of the round or the row, and we're going to do 1 half double crochet at this end. So to do a half double crochet, you want to yarn over and then just go into the top of the last stitch, and this is the turning chain from last round, and then yarn over and pull up a loop and yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. So there we have 1 half double crochet to finish, and we have completed round 2 and we're ready to begin round 3. So to begin round 3, you want to chain 2 and turn. And round 3 is the exact same thing as round 2. We're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to do 3 front post double crochets, then 3 back post double crochets, 3 front post double crochets, 3 back post double crochets, all the way along for round 3, the exact same thing as round 2. So we have chain 2, and this counts as our first half double crochet to begin the round. So this is the half double crochet for this stitch here. So we're going to begin working around this next stitch, and we're going to work our first front post double crochet. So yarn over and go in right before the front post double crochet and come out after it. So you should have the stitch on your hook and work 1 double crochet. And then do the same thing around the next stitch, a second front post double crochet, and then the same thing around the third stitch. So this is a third front post double crochet. So there we have 3 front post double crochets, and then around the next 3 stitches we are going to do a back post double crochet around each one. So yarn over, and if you look at the stitch here, we're working in this back row. So this is where we did the back post double crochet from last round, and you're working along this back row here, or around this back row. So yarn over, go around the back of your work, come out before the stitch. So you can see here's our stitch here. So come out before it and go back in after it and work a double crochet. Yarn over and go around the back, come out before it, go around it and come out after it and work a double crochet, and then do the same thing for a final time, a third time. So there we have 3 back post double crochets, so 3 front post, 3 back post, and continue to do this all the way along for round 3. We're doing the same thing as round 2. So I'm going to do 3 front post around the next 3 stitches. So there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. And then I'm going to do 3 back post double crochets around the next 3. So there is 1, there is 2, and finally there is 3. So there we have 3 back post, and just continue this for round 3. So I have just finished working that all the way along for round 3, and now to finish off this round you want to finish off by doing 1 half double crochet into the top of the last stitch. So this last stitch is the turning chain from last round, and yarn over and go into the top of this stitch and work 1 last half double crochet. So there we have round 3 completed, which was the exact same as round 2. And now we're moving on to round 4. So to begin round 4, you want to chain 2 and turn. And round 4 is very similar to round 2 and round 3, except in round 2 and round 3, we did front post, back post, front post, back post. And in round 4, we're going to do back post, front post, back post, front post. So we're starting off by doing back post double crochets instead of front post. So we're going to do 3 back post double crochets, 3 front post double crochets, 3 back post double crochets, 3 front post double crochets all the way along for round 4. So it's the exact same thing as round 2 and round 3, except we're starting off with back post. So we have chain 2, and this counts as our first half double crochet to begin this round. So for this stitch here, so we're going to work our first back post double crochet around this first stitch, so the next stitch along. So yarn over and go in behind your work and come out around right before the first stitch, go around the front of it and go back down afterwards and work 1 double crochet. So there we have 1 back post double crochet, and I'm going to do this 2 more times. Yarn over, go around the back of your work, come out before the stitch, go over the stitch and go out after the stitch, and work another double crochet, then yarn over, go in before the next stitch, come out after the stitch and work another double crochet. So there we have 3 back post double crochets. So now we're going to do 3 front post double crochets. So yarn over, go in before the stitch, come out after the stitch, and again we're working on this top row here, not this one or this one, this top row, and it may be easier to see the row if you pull this line down here. So there we have 1 front post double crochet, and we're going to do that 3 times. Go before the stitch, out afterwards, and do a second one, and then do that a 3rd time. So there we have 3 back post, 3 front post, and just continue this all the way along for round 4. So I'm going to do 3 back post double crochets around these next 3 stitches. So there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. And then I'm going to do 3 front post double crochets around these next 3, and continue to do this all the way along for round 4. So I have just finished working that all the way along for round 4, and you should have finished off by working front post double crochets as we started with back post. And now to finish off this round, we're going to work 1 half double crochet into the very last stitch. So finish off with a half double crochet, and we're ready to move on to round 5. So to begin round 5, you want to chain 2 and turn, and round 5 is the exact same thing as round 4. We're going to do back post, front post, back post, front post, back post, front post all the way along. So we have our chain 2, which counts as our first half double crochet. So we're now going to work 3 back post double crochets around each of the next 3 stitches. So yarn over, go around the back, come out in front, go over and come out afterwards. And there's 1, and we're working this around the 2nd stitch here, as the half double crochet or the chain 2 that we worked at the beginning is the stitch for this first stitch. So go around the 2nd stitch. So now we're doing a 2nd back post double crochet, and then a 3rd back post double crochet. So there we have 3 back posts, and we're going to do 3 front posts. So 1 around each of the next 3 stitches. So there we have 1, and then 2, and then 3. So this is the same thing as round 4, back post, front post, back post, front post. So I'm going to do 3 back post, and like I said, we're going into this top row here, and it may be easier to see the top row if you pull this line down here, so you can see the stitches more clearly. So we're going to do a back post double crochet around this first stitch, then around the next stitch, and finally the 3rd one, and then do 3 front post, and just do this all the way along for round 5, the same thing as round 4. That. So I finished working that all the way along for round 5, and to finish off this round, yarn over and work a half double crochet into the top of the last stitch, which is the turning chain. So go into the top of this last chain or last stitch and work 1 half double crochet. So there we have completed up to round 5, and we're ready to begin the next round. At this point we have completed up to round 5. So we've done rounds 1 up to round 5, and now for the rest of the front of our vest, you simply want to repeat rounds 2 through to 5 again and again and again. So we have completed round 5, so you want to now repeat round 2 again, then round 3, then round 4, then round 5, then round 2, then round 3, then round 4, then round 5. And you want to repeat those 4 rounds, rounds 2, 3, 4 and 5, until your work reaches the armholes of your t-shirt or the person who you are making your vest for. So you want to repeat those 4 rounds until your work reaches the bottom of the armholes. So here I have a vest which I have started in the exact same style, it's just in a different colour, and I have finished repeating those 4 rounds. So you can see that I have repeated rounds 2, 3, 4 and 5 all the way up until the armholes, or to the beginning of the armholes. Here is the sleeve and here's the beginning. And you need to make sure that you finish on a round 5. Do not finish on a round 2, 3 or 4. the last round you work for this section of the front of your vest needs to be a round 5. So continue to repeat rounds 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up until the armhole of your t-shirt or the person who your vest is for, and make sure that you finish on a round 5. So the last round that you work should be a round 5. And you may be able to remember how those rounds go. So for round 2, you chain 2 and turn and work front, back, all the way along, and work a half double crochet at the very end. Then for round 3, you chain 2 and turn and do the exact same thing. Then for round 4, you chain 2 and turn and go back, front, and do a half double crochet at the end. And for round 5, you chain 2 and turn and do the same thing. So you may be able to remember those rounds. They're pretty easy to remember, or you can go back in the video and re-watch those rounds time and time again. So keep repeating those rounds until you reach the armhole, finishing on a round 5. And then we are ready to go on with the rest of the front of our vest. So I have finished working those rounds, and I have finished working a round 5, and my work is now the length that I need it to be. And we are now going to begin moving in, so decreasing for the armholes of the top of the front of our vest. So for this, what we're going to do is we're just going to take off 3 stitches from each side. So we're going to take 3 stitches off of the left side and 3 stitches off of the right side, but continue our pattern. So to begin this next round of the front of our vest, you want to start off by turning your work, and like I said, I have finished off on a round 5. So I have turned my work, I haven't made any chains, I've just turned, and like I just said, we are going to take 3 stitches off of each side of our vest. So we need to work 3 slip stitches to start this round. So you want to insert your hook down into the very first stitch, and then yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. So there we have 1 slip stitch. And now we're going to work a slip stitch into the next stitch, and then a slip stitch into the next stitch. So we have 3 slip stitches, and into the next stitch we are going to work 1 half double crochet. So 3 slip stitches and then a half double crochet into the next stitch, like that. And now for the rest of this row, we are simply going to continue our pattern across until we reach 4 stitches from the end. So we're going to continue what we have been doing along here for the rest of our vest until we reach 4 stitches from the end. So you can see we have the half double crochet and then these last 3 stitches. So that's 4 stitches. So continue to work our pattern as usual, all the way along until you get to here, 4 stitches from the end. And we're going to start off by doing back post double crochet, so 3 back post double crochets, then 3 front post, back post, front post, back post. So we are starting this round with back posts. So we've done 3 slip stitches, a half double crochet. So now we're going to do 3 back post double crochets. So there I have my 3 back post double crochets. And now I am doing front posts. So make sure that you start on a back post double crochet. So do 3 back post, 3 front post, 3 back post, 3 front post, all the way along until 4 stitches from the end. So I have just finished working that all the way along for this round, and I have finished off by doing 3 front post double crochets. And now to finish off this round, you want to do 1 half double crochet into the next stitch. So we have skipped 4 stitches at the end, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not going to work into these, but you want to do 1 half double crochet into the next stitch. So 1 half double crochet, and there you should have 3 stitches that you are not working into at the end. And we have finished this round, and we can move on to the next one. So to start the next round, you want to chain 2 and turn. And for this round, we're just going to do back post double crochet, front post double crochet, back post, front post, all the way along. So just the same as we have done lots of times up here, we're going to do back post, front post, all the way along. And you can see last round we cut off 3 stitches at the end of each side. So we have our chain 2, which counts as our half double crochet to begin this round. So we have 1 half double crochet at the end of each of these rounds as well. So we have 1 half double crochet, and we're now going to go around the next stitch and work a back post double crochet. So do back post and then do a back post around the next one. And then finally the next one. So 3 back post, and now we're going to do 3 front post around the next 3 stitches. So continue to do this all the way along for this round, back post, front post, back post, front post. And when you get to the end of the round, do not work into the slip stitches. We made 3 slip stitches and then a half double crochet. So you should work 3 front post double crochets around these 3 here, and then do not work into the 3 slip stitches or the half double crochet. So stop when you get here. So I have finished working that all the way along for that row, and I have finished off by doing 3 front post double crochets, and here I have my 3 slip stitches and then the half double crochet left from last round. And to finish off this round, we're going to do 1 last half double crochet into the half double crochet from last round, and then we are going to skip the slip stitches and we are not going to work into those stitches, and that will give us the stitches that we want to skip on either side for our armholes. So there we have finished that round, and we're ready to begin the next one. Part of the front of our vest is very simple. We are simply going to repeat rounds 2, 3, 4 and 5, again just as we have done lots and lots of times before. We're just going to repeat those rounds again and again until you reach the neckline of your vest. So here I have the t-shirt which I am basing my vest off of, and I'm going to repeat rounds 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5 until I reach the neckline here, or you could do it up until you reach the neckline of the person who your vest is for. So repeat those 4 rounds, and you may be able to remember them, or you can go back in the video and re-watch them. And you want to go up, but make sure that you finish on a round 5. The last round that you work should be a round 5. So work rounds 2, 3, 4, 5 again and again until you reach the neckline, so the bottom of the neckline of your t-shirt or person, and then finish on a round 5. And when we are working those rounds, we are still not going to be working into these 3 stitches at the end. These 3 stitches which we have just cut off, we're not going to be working into them, so you are just working those rounds on this section. So I'm going to begin my first repetition of round 2, and I'm going to chain 2 and turn, and then this counts as my first half double crochet, and I'm going to do front post double crochet, back post, front back all the way along. And when I get to the end here, you should work 3 back post double crochets around these 3 stitches, and then work 1 half double crochet to finish. Do not go down and work into these. This section is finished. We're just working along this top section. Then you will chain 2 and turn and do the same thing for round 3, then chain 2 and do the same thing for round 4 and 5, and repeat that for as many rounds as you have to. And obviously the bigger size that you are doing, the more rounds you will need to do. So I have just finished working those rounds, and I have finished off on a round 5, and my work now reaches the bottom of the neckline of my t-shirt that I am basing my vest off of. And we have almost finished the front of our vest. We now just need to make the sleeves, or the straps, which are going to go on either side. So you can make these straps of your vest any size that you want. You can make them as wide as you want and as long as you want. But as far as width is concerned, your straps need to be an even number of these sets of 3 plus 2. So what you need to do is, if you have a look at your work, we have these sets of 3 stitches. So there we have a set, there we have a set, there we have a set, and each strap needs to be an even set of these stitches. So I'm going to make mine 4 sets wide. So there we have 1, 2, 3 and 4, so an even number of the sets of 3 stitches. And then you also need to add 2, and those are going to be the half double crochets either side of the straps. So we have 1 half double crochet here, so that is going to be 1. Then I'm going to have 1 set, 2 sets, 3 sets, 4 sets, and then I'm going to have 1 extra stitch here, which is going to be my second stitch, and I'm going to work half double crochets into this stitch to finish my round, or to finish the first round of my straps. So your straps can be as wide as you want, but they must be an even number of sets of 3 stitches, and then you need to have a stitch on either end of your sets to make half double crochets. So we have a half double crochet at the end and beginning of each round. So before you begin working your straps, I would use stitch markers to mark out how wide you'll want your straps to be. So I know that this strap on the left is going to start here. So I have my half double crochet, 1 set, 2 sets, 3 sets, 4 sets, and then this extra stitch here is going to be my last half double crochet. So I'm just going to insert a stitch marker into this stitch like that. So that is how wide my strap is going to be. And now I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side here. This last stitch is going to be my half double crochet at this end. Then I'll have 1 set, 2 sets, 3 sets, 4 sets. And then I'm going to have this stitch here is going to be my half double crochet for this stitch. So I'm going to insert my hook into this one, and that will be where my strap will end on this side. So to begin our straps, we're going to do them one at a time. We're going to work our left one first, and we're going to finish that strap, and then we are going to work our right strap. So we're working them one at a time, and the straps are very simple to make. We are simply going to continue our pattern of repeating rounds 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we are just working them over this section here. So we will have our half double crochet, then we'll have front post, back post, front post, back post, and then a half double crochet to end, and then we'll do half double crochet, front post, back post, front post, back post, all the way along, and just continue to do that up until as many rounds as you like. And you don't have to finish on any particular round, as this is the last section of the front of our vest. You can finish on around 2, 3, 4, 5, it doesn't matter as long as both your straps are the same length. So we're going to start this left strap by chaining 2 and turning, and this counts as our first half double crochet for this side of the strap. So what we're going to do now is we're going to begin round 2. So we're going to do front post, and then we're going to do back post, then front post, back post, front post, back post, all the way along until you come to the end of your strap. And this is why it is good to use stitch markers, as that way you can see clearly when you want to work your last stitch and when you want your strap to end. So I'm just doing round 2, so like that, and you should finish off by working back post double crochets, and into this last stitch here where our stitch marker is, this is going to be our last stitch, and this is going to be a half double crochet. Like I said, we are doing even sets of 3 plus 2 extra stitches, and those are going to be half double crochets on either end. So I'm going to go into this last stitch where my stitch marker is and work a half double crochet like that. So there I have completed the first round of my strap, round 2. So now I'm going to move on to round 3, so chain 2 and turn, and we're just going to keep repeating those rounds, rounds 2, 3, 4 and 5 on this small section. So for round 2 we do front, back, round 3 we do the same, and then round 4 we do back, front, and then round 5 we do the same. And like I said, you don't have to finish on round 5 this time. You can finish whenever you like, and you just want to stop when your strap reaches the very top of your t-shirt or the very top of the person who you are making your vest for. So keep going until your straps are the right length that you want them to be. So I have just finished working my left strap, and I ended up working 5 rows in total. So I finished off on row or round 2, and this is what I have. This is how long it is, and I have fastened off, so cut my yarn and pulled my yarn out and my hook, and that is my left strap completed. And now I'm going to move on and work my right strap in the exact same way as the left one. We're going to do the exact same thing, but as we don't have our yarn here, we need to attach some new yarn. And we also need to turn over our work. So you can see here we have our vest, or the front of our vest, and you need to turn over your work so that you are working this way, so that your stitch marker or the end of this side of your strap is in the middle and you can work along this way. So you need to turn over your work, and this strap needs to be exactly the same length as your other one, or the same width. So it needs to be an even number of the sets of 3. So I have 4 sets, 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 2 extra stitches for our half double crochets. So we have 1 extra stitch on the end, and then we have another one here. So take your extra stitch, so an even number plus 2, and you need to make sure that that's the exact same size as this one. So here I have my stitch marker inserted into the stitch. So I have counted, I have the 1, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sets, and then I inserted my stitch marker into the next stitch along to give me that extra stitch that I needed. So what we're going to do is we're going to insert our hook into this stitch, the same one that our stitch marker is in. And remember, you need to turn your work so that you can work along this way. And we're then just going to take our yarn, place it over the end of our hook and pull it through like that. And there we have our new yarn attached, ready to begin our strap. So to begin our strap, we're going to chain 2, and I am actually going to chain 2 using both strands of my new yarn. So this is the yarn coming from the ball and also the end. So you want to chain 1 and 2. So you want to chain 2, and this counts as our first half double crochet, and I chain 2 with both strands to make it more secure. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to continue working round 2. So we're going to do front post, back post, front post, back post, and then do a half double crochet at the end. And then we're going to chain 2 and turn and do round 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5 for as many rounds until this one is the exact same length as this side over here. So this is the exact same as the other side, except we're starting here, so we have to attach some new yarn and turn our work. So that is all we're going to do for this side. So just continue repeating rounds 2 to 5 until your strap is long enough. So I have finished working that strap, and I fastened off as well. And now we have completed the front of our vest. So here you see we have the straps, and we come down and we have skipped some stitches for the armholes, and we come all the way down to the bottom. So there we have the front completed, and now we are going to move on to the back. For the back of our vest, we are going to do the exact same thing as the front. So you want to do the exact same thing, you want to chain the exact same number and work all the way up here. So you can see here I have my front and my back. You then want to continue repeating those rounds all the way up. You then want to do the rounds where we skip the 3 on either side, and we continue to repeat rounds 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way up. So do the exact same thing for the back as we did for the front. The only difference is we are not going to make any straps. So when we stopped this section here and we moved on to the straps, you do not want to do that for the back. You want to continue repeating those rounds 2, 3, 4 and 5, all the way up until your work is the exact same length. So you do not have to finish on any particular row. It just needs to be the exact same row that you finished on for your front. So I finished my straps on a row 2. So I worked all the way up and finished on a row 2 at the end of this round. So the back is the same thing as the front. Make sure that you chain the exact same number, work all the way up, cut out the 3 stitches from either end and continue to work up and make sure that it's the exact same length. And then when you have your 2 pieces, we can sew them together. So we are now going to begin joining the front and the back of our vest together. So you want to place the 2 sides of your vest together, and we are going to join along this side over here, stopping at where we cut in for the armholes, and then we're going to join along the top and then along the other side at the top. And you can join your sides using whatever method you like. You can use slip stitch, you can sew them together, but I'm going to use the whip stitch to sew them together. So I have actually used these little stitch markers to keep my work in place so that it does not move whilst I am joining it, but that is completely optional. And to do the whip stitch, what you want to do is take a yarn needle and your yarn, so the same colour yarn that you worked your vest in, and you want to insert it into the very corner and then go through the same corner on the opposite side, making sure you are going right at the bottom, and pull your yarn through. So like that, so we've gone from front to back and we pulled our yarn through. Now you want to bring your needle back to the front and insert your hook into the next stitch, and then go into the exact same stitch on the opposite side and pull your yarn through again. So now I'm going to bring my needle back down to the front and go into the next stitch and the same one on the opposite side, and make sure that you are lining them up perfectly. You do not want to be uneven, and we are going into the side of the stitches, so it's a little bit more tricky, but you do need to make sure that you are lining them up exactly. And as this does have a pattern, it's quite easy to line them up and to see where to go. So continue to do the whip stitch all the way along. Insert your needle from the front to the back and then pull your yarn through, then bring it back through to the front and go from the front to the back again, and make sure that you are going into the exact same stitch on both sides. So continue to do that all the way up until you get to the corner here, and then do it all the way along this side, all the way along this side, and all the way down. And there you will have joined your vest. So I have finished joining my vest, so I joined all the way up this side and the other side, and then across the top. And you can see using that stitch gives us a really nice seam. You can't even tell that it's been sewn together. It goes really nicely all together. And there we have finished our vest, and I have weaved all of my ends into the inside of my vest, and then I decided to add a single crochet border around the neckline of my vest. So I went down a hook size. I used a 3.5mm crochet hook, where I'd used a 4mm crochet hook for the rest of my vest, and I just did one single crochet into every single stitch around the neckline, finishing off with a slip stitch, and that gave me a nice neat neckline to my vest. And I have finished. So that is it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and found it easy to follow. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more crochet videos, and thanks again for watching. Bye!